Britain's Got Talent is a TV talent show competition that airs here on the UK, typically between the beginning of May, end of March on the TV channel ITV. Contestants show up ready to showcase their talent to a live audience who are ready to either accept them or ridicule them. There's also a panel of judges there who then decide whether or not they have talent based on their own perception of what is or what isn't talent. Simon Cowell, an apparent narcissistic, condescending millionaire who for some reason is dressing like Harry Potter this season. He created and or owns Britain's Got Talent, as well as the majority of other talent-based shows such as X Factor, Pop Idol, American Idol, and so forth. Basically, he's that British guy on TV that insults people for money. So all of this may seem relatively harmless. A contestant feels like they've got a talent, their family, their friends then spur them on to go onto the show. They arrive on the show and then they either leave completely disappointed or completely elated, depending on what someone thinks of them. What we don't see is the quite frankly disgusting and awful contractual agreements that every contestant must sign to even make it to the televised auditions. Luckily, I have one of these contracts with me today, and I haven't signed any form of NDA or have any ties with Britain's Got Talent, so therefore I can speak completely freely about the terrible things that are in this. Final point, I can't disclose where I got this from. I got it from somebody who knows somebody, and that's as much as I can say, but I pinky promise with you right now that this is legitimate. So let's go through his contract and dissect what everything actually means in it. And as you probably know, contractual language is like speaking in tongues at points, so I'm going to do my best to break it down as simply as I can so that everybody can easily understand what's going on here. First up, we have the title of the contract, which is Britain's Got Talent 7 and Britain's Got More Talent 7, brackets, the programme, close brackets, audition release form. Simply put, if you get through the initial audition, you have to sign this in order to get through to the next audition in front of the panel of judges and in front of the live crowd. You cannot go to the auditions unless you sign this contract. Keep in mind that throughout this contract, whenever they refer to Britain's Got Talent 7 or Britain's Got More Talent 7, it's simply referred to as the programme. Second, we have who this contract is between, in this case Fremantle Media, trading as the Thames, brackets, the company, close brackets, and then a box of which you can fill out all of your personal details. All you need to take away from this is that Fremantle Media will be known as the company throughout the rest of this contract, and the rest is just details that you'd fill out anywhere, so your name, your birthday, your whatever. Underneath that, we have some more legal speak about the contestant irrevocably giving consent about being recorded and filmed in relation to the terms that we are getting to. It finishes with the normal sign and date here with a guardian area for if you're under 18. We're now onto the terms and conditions, which they state should be read very carefully, which now means I'm in the 1% of people that actually read terms and conditions. We're starting with the requirements for participation within the programme. Final thing before I start this contract, whenever I refer to Psycho, it's referring to Simon Cowell's company. This first section says that you agree to be filmed and judged by the judges, the presenters, other people in the programme, and the general public, since this is a televised programme so people could be watching you. They don't take any responsibility for whether the judgments are positive or negative. Number 2, you're just agreeing to make yourself available for filming, for photo shoots, for anything that they will need you for, and if you break this agreement, Psycho, the company, and anyone like that have every right to disqualify you from the competition and withdraw any prize money that you may receive. Number 3, the company will adhere to the rules of the competition as set out by Psycho and the company. However, they reserve the right to remove you from the premises or the competition. They also maintain the right to your contribution to the show and can exploit it in any way they see fit. Basically, they own everything that you do on the show and can use it however they like. You also have to acknowledge that the programme's interests override the interests of any contestants and that the company's decision on anything is final. Number 4, basically, you do what you're told by the company and anyone working for the company while on the premises. Now, this one is a beast of a section. So first off, if you make it through to the semi-finals, you may at some point be required to sign a deal with either Psycho or Sony Music UK Limited, or any of Psycho's I can't say the word, desineries is a word like that. There are different types of deals that change depending on what your act is, so here's a quick list of what those could be. If you're a musical performer, you have to sign an exclusive worldwide recording agreement. If you're not a musical performance, you'll have to sign a audio-visual exclusive worldwide recording agreement, an exclusive worldwide publishing agreement, an exclusive touring merchandising agreement solely in relation to the Britain's Got Talent tour, which includes an exclusive worldwide merchandising, sponsorship, or endorsement agreement, an exclusive management agreement, and an exclusive agency agreement. So let's go point by point. First off is a recording deal. The terms of that will be decided when you are required to sign that recording deal. Number 2 and 3 are the exact same except for anything that's not music related and or publishing, so books and all that stuff. Number 4 and 5 is basically that they're the only ones that can make you merchandise and they will sell it. Number 6 and 7 are just management and agency agreements, which you can go find out what a management and or agency does because I can't be bothered to explain in this video. The main point to take out of this is the word exclusive, and I bloody hate the word exclusive. And because this contract says that you may be required to take a deal, they're making it so that you have to take a deal if they offer it to you. And that deal has to be exclusive, and they can set the terms of it as they like. And since you're required to take it, they can offer you nothing and you still have to take it just because you signed this contract. It's basically a free pass to give you another crappy deal on top of this crappy deal, so it further feeds this malicious cycle of crappy deals. Number 6 stops you signing any other deal with anyone that isn't Psycho or a company, and you cannot be part of any deal if you sign this. Basically, you can't be in any contractual agreement before you sign this contractual agreement because they want to own your brand and therefore milk your brand for everything they can get out of it while giving you very little in the way of what you would actually be earning if you were in a good deal, which this is not. This is one of the sneakier ones. It's a really short sentence. It's like being sneaky, but it's sneaky in the sense that a murderer is sneaky when he murders someone. Number 7, as a musician that releases music and has a YouTube channel, this one really boils my blood, so let's go into it. Okay, so this is saying that anything that you've ever made that is online, so be it audio, visual, audio, written, so that means blogs, YouTube videos, recorded music, they now own all of that, okay? So anything you have online, they own. Doesn't matter if you released it before signing this, they now own it completely. They can decide whether you leave it up online or you have to take it down. So imagine you're an aspiring singer or some form of YouTuber or an entertainer on YouTube. Before going on the show, you've made a bunch of videos online. Maybe you've recorded yourself doing a cover online, okay? You sign this, you go on TV, you blow up, and all of a sudden your little video you made 2 years ago to, you know, have fun, that gets 1 million views. Because of this contract, Psycho and the company, they now own that and they can make all the money out of that. They can choose how much they want to pay you because they own that content. You don't own that content anymore. They own that content. So any money made from that content, they have from now on. And this applies even if you appear once on TV. And the thing is, it gets even worse. If you make it through to the semi-finals, they then ban you from releasing any content whatsoever without their written consent. Do you ever wonder why we don't hear from people after Britain's Got Talent has happened? It's because legally they cannot actually say anything online without being allowed to by Psycho and the company. They either had to get consent or be released from the contract. And then by the time that they either get released from the contract or it expires, nobody cares about them anymore because another person is now the winner of Britain's Got Talent and they're the new hot thing. Now nobody cares what that person who got screwed out of everything has to say anymore. To put as simply as I can for anyone who still doesn't understand, you cannot write a tweet on Twitter without asking Psycho or the company if you can write a tweet on Twitter. This also means that any photos you put on Twitter, so say you took a selfie with your family, they own that as well. Oh. Number 8, this next part just reinforces the first part and requires you to tell them about everything you have online before they even allow you into the competition, and you can't lie about it. And if you do decide that, yeah, I'm going to lie about it, they then just hold the right to disqualify you and withdraw any money that you may or may not win. Number 9, if your act involves an animal, you need all the paperwork required to make sure your animal is healthy and they don't take responsibility for anything bad that may happen to the animal while at the auditions or at any other events involving the company and or Psycho. Number 10, if you're doing a stunt, you have to tell them you're doing a stunt, otherwise they hold the right to not let you do that stunt. Number 11, if you hurt yourself doing something stupid, then it's your fault, not their fault, unless something out of your control happens to you, like a light falling on top of you, in which case then they are responsible for that. Simon Cowell being mean to you does not constitute getting hurt. Number 12, the company and or Psycho will not intentionally reveal any secrets of your act, so if you're a magician, they won't show people how you yanked a rabbit out of your ass. Number 13, you have to tell them how old you are and or prove how old you are. Number 14, you need to have the right to work in the UK and provide them with paperwork if this at any point changes. Number 15, if you lie to them at any point on any application, they have the right to disqualify you and withdraw any money that you may or may not win. Number 16, if you committed crimes, tell them you committed crimes. Okay, so we're halfway through this contract, and they already own everything you've ever put on social media, anything you've ever put online, period. And let me just quickly iterate why this is so terrible. When I say that they own you, I mean that they own all of your content. So say you put a video online and that video generates £100 in ad revenue. They can then take that £100 and pay you 10 of it, because they can make up some reasons as to other people they had to pay and only give you £10 when you should have made £100. And if you're living in the real world where money is important, that is a massive kick in the nuts. Like, seriously. Money is important, kids. It may not seem important when you're 14, 15, but trust me, it's important. So on with the next half of this contract. Number 17, this is another stinger of a clause. You have to irrevocably sign over all contract, past, present or future, and give them full rights to do whatever they want with it. They can use it in any way they see fit, on social media, on YouTube, on everything that they want. They can use it however they decide. Number 18, this is just saying that they can exploit your image in any way they see fit. They can alter, adapt or change it any way they want, which basically means that they can take a part of your story and just focus on that part rather than the other part. So imagine you've said something really heartfelt, but then you said one thing that was kind of negative. They could take that negative aspect and only focus on that. It's like when you're in an argument with a partner or a friend and you give lots of reasons and then they focus on one reason that wasn't even a big point. But let me just clarify, that's what could happen. They can do what they want. This is the thing. They can do literally what they want with it. But they could do something you agree with, they could do something you don't agree with. Either way, you cannot decide how they treat your image or your branding or who you are as a person. They can make and exploit or authorize the making and exploitation of your image, your brand, your anything, and there's nothing you can do about it. Basically, you're their bitch. They can dub your voice into different languages. They can use anything related to you, so your name, your voice, and they can use that on all forms of social media, whether or not they even exist at this point. Number 19, this point is just that they don't have to use anything that they don't want to use. Take that as you will. Number 20, and here we have another terrible part. This is something I seriously hate about contracts. First two sentences start out pretty fair, and then hidden underneath them is where you sign your entire life away. So, starts fair and simply enough. You have to tell them if you are covering someone or if what you're doing is original. This is so that if it's a cover, they can obtain the rights to have it used on TV. Then, underneath that fair bit, you have to license over to them any original content. This includes absolutely anything to do with your act. So if you're a magician, your tricks. If you're a comedian, your jokes. If you're a musician, your musicianness. Your songs, obviously. You have to sign all of that over to them and license it to them, and then they can use it however they want. You can't decide whether or not you license it to them. You have to license it to them. I don't know about you, but me, personally, every song that I make or video I create, that's like another child to me. That's like my child, and I've spent time creating it and building it from nothing, and then to have to sign it over to someone who's gonna use it however they want and exploit it in however they want. That's just terrible. It's awful. It's like selling your children to a slaver under the guise of getting them back later as a better person, which, you know, doesn't happen. That never happens. And then they catch you out right at the very bottom of this paragraph where they say that they can extend this license however, whenever, and whenever they want. They can extend it however they want. You've given your children away thinking you're going to get them back, and they can just keep them forever and just keep renewing the license. And if you do get it back, it's going to be at a time when it's no longer beneficial to the company or Psycho, which means it's not going to be beneficial to you anymore. We're on to the final page of the contract, which covers the rest of the miscellaneous stuff that is left over, as if, you know, your soul and everything about you wasn't enough to sign over yet. Number 21. This one's just, quite frankly, quite mean. Signing this contract and being part of the program does not guarantee any future engagement with Psycho or the company or the program. Fair enough, it's a competition after all. And Psycho or the company can disqualify you at any point for any reason, no matter what the issue is. They are not liable at all for doing that, and they're not liable for your travel costs, or loss of opportunity or anything. That's just flat out nasty. Basically, that's just nasty. It's not nice. Bad on you, Psycho. Maybe they just decide they don't like you anymore. That's it, you're done. No other reason. They could make up a reason and disqualify you for that reason. The reason doesn't matter. You could do everything right and they still can disqualify you for absolutely no reason, and you cannot have any legal grounds on which to stand on afterwards. Yes, to you lawyer people out there, I know this is all legal stuff and a lot of it's standard, but it's just incredibly sad that people can be treated in this way, which is completely void of any sort of moral compass. It's despicable that real life humans can be treated in such a way because of words written on paper by some that's rich, essentially. Number 2, they won't pay you and you're not entitled to any compensation regarding your performance or contribution to the show. Number 23, you cannot talk to anyone in regards to anything to do with Psycho, the company, or the program. That's a pretty good thing that I didn't sign this contract. Number 24 reinforces that last point that you can't talk to anyone. If anyone contacts you, you have to contact Psycho's publicity and they will talk to them for you. Number 25, this stops you appearing in anything that isn't predetermined by the company, Psycho, or the program. You can't appear in anything on YouTube and social media or anything without consulting them first. So say you're some 15-year-old kid with a bunch of friends who are super excited that you got through to the semi-finals of Britain's Got Talent. If they take a photo of you and put it online, that is not allowed. They have to check with Psycho and the company first. Say your grandmother takes a photo of you because she's so happy that you got through to semi-finals. She can't put that online, can't share that with anybody without consulting Psycho or the company first. Now, if this happens in a relationship, say between a boyfriend and girlfriend, this would be domestic abuse. Okay? What they're doing is domestic abuse, and it's written into this contract. Number 26, you can't use any copyrighted material to try get them into trouble, so it's just protecting themselves against from any copyright issues. Number 27, the company and Psycho are in no way liable to anything bad that happens to you. Even if you get hurt on their premises, they're not liable for it until you can prove in court that they are liable for it. So basically, they got lots of money and very good lawyers, and you don't. So unless you can take them to court, you're never going to get a dime of compensation out of them, even if they hurt you on their show. Number 28, get ready for some really disgraceful shit. Say you've been exploited by the show, you've had a light fall on top of you. Everything bad that could have happened to you when you went to the program and you were on the company's and Psycho's premises, okay? Say everything bad happens to you. This clause stops you from being able to sue them for anything aside from damages. This contract is preventing you from being able to tell them how bad that they are in court. It's basically just letting them act in any criminal, immoral fashion that they so desire, and you cannot do shit about it. So they treat you like garbage, they control your entire artistic career, and you can't do anything about it. You can never do anything about it. Even before you make it to the TV auditions, you've signed away any right that you possibly could have to them. They own every single little thing about you. It's disgusting. Number 29, they can give your rights away to anybody that they decide. So say there's a charity that's a bit sketchy, you don't quite agree with what they're preaching. They can give your rights to them and you have to represent them no matter if you agree with that cause or not. You know when websites say, don't worry, we won't sell your personal information to anybody? This contract is saying, worry, we're gonna sell your personal information to everybody. Number 30, if any of these clauses at some point become unlawful, you are still contractually bound by every other clause in the contract. And then once they amend the contract to become lawful once again, you are still bound by that new contractual agreement. Just because it's against the law doesn't mean you're not having to abide by it. And now we're on to the final point after an hour of filming. Number 30. The courts of England are the only courts that have any jurisdiction over the contract, essentially meaning this is in abidance with UK law and no other foreign law. And then there's a final piece of paper of which you have to fill out everything you've ever done ever, so TV show appearances, magazines and whatnot. I'm not going to say everything, I'm just going to have a list scroll right now. And that is the Britain's Got Talent contract in full, fully broken down for your viewing pleasure, or displeasure as I'm feeling right now. One word that I can use to describe this contract, and I used it in the title, it's disgusting, it's horrendous, it's horrible. They own everything about you. They own every single thing you've ever done, ever will do, or ever could do. You have to consult them about every tweet you write, every video you post, every photo you put on Instagram or Snapchat. You would have to clear your Snapchat stories with them before you can ever do it. That's how bad that this contract is. They own everything. They are a soul-sucking corporation, entity, whatever. It's so depressing that hundreds of people sign their lives away to this contract. And they can't do anything about it. In short, I have one single finite word that I use to describe Mr. Simon Cowell, because he is the mastermind behind this. He's the mastermind behind all of this. So, Simon, if you're watching this video, which I doubt because, you know, you're too busy having a bath in your millions and millions of money. I'm going to be universal and say money. You couldn't care less because you made $94 million in 2014. What do you care? I have one word that I can use to describe you, and it's a word that I save for a very few select people. In fact, there's only one other person in the world that I would use to describe it on, and that is, you are a